So Audi never really had a three-row SUV. If you wanted one, it just wasn't available. You had other options from BMW, from Mercedes, like the X7 and the GLS. But if you wanted a three-row SUV, it just wasn't possible. But things have fortunately changed because Audi has just announced the all-new SQ9. This is their biggest, fastest SUV today. It gets a 4-liter twin-turbo V8 with over 591 horsepower, making it the fastest 3-row Q vehicle from Audi. Now let's first talk about the design. Audi really pulled off a great design here, whether that be exterior or interior. We're gonna take a look at some interior shots later on in the video, but when you take a look at the exterior of this car, it's a beautiful, beautiful car with a very, very nice design, especially the front fascia. I'm a big fan of the front fascia with that big front single frame grille that Audi has redesigned for the SQ9 with these new sort of chrome elements that you see on the front. So for the first time ever, Audi is introducing matrix LED headlights in the US. Now we're taking a look at the back of the car. You can see the most important design element, in my opinion, which is the real four tailpipes that we get with the SQ9, which is something that I'm very, very delighted to see because Audi has really gotten us accustomed to some fake exhausts in the past few years with some of their models. So it's really good to see Audi breaking free from that bad habit and seeing that the SQ9 gets real exhaust pipes instead. Overall, I'm a big fan of the design of the car. It's a big SUV, and the primary market of this SUV is going to be the US for sure, because the US is the number one market for this type of big three-row SUVs. So performance-wise, this gets the 4-liter twin-turbo V8 that Audi has been using across a lot of their high-performance vehicles. If that sounds familiar, this is essentially the same block that lived in the pre-facelift RS6 Avant. It does 0 to 60 in only 3.8 seconds. Let that sink in. I mean, that's faster than a lot of sports cars out there. So 3.8 seconds for an SUV that sits 7 people, that's absolutely mind-blowing. It can carry 7 people with absolute comfort, and they will out-accelerate cars you would actually call sports cars. How crazy is that? Audi says it is the quickest accelerating three-row SUV to 16 in its entire class. So nobody's even close in the competition, whether that be from Mercedes or from BMW. Nobody does 0 to 60 as fast as the SQ9. So this is not just a straight line body. The Quattro system here is new, and there is rear bias. There is an electromechanical clutch constantly deciding where to send the power, and when you throw it into a corner, it can shuffle nearly all the torque to the rear wheels to help the SUV rotate. And it gets a rear lock-in differential too. So the big luxury barge actually wants to turn. It has an electronically limited top speed of 155 miles an hour. And now let's get to the tech part. This is where the SQ9 gets genuinely clever, starting off with the climate control, because Audi did something most brands don't even bother with. This car gets a 5-zone climate control. Yes, a 5-zone climate control. I've never heard of 5-zone climate controls ever. This is the first time ever I hear about a car getting a 5-zone climate control. So almost every luxury SUV gives you 4 zones: driver, front passengers, and 2 in the back. Audi added a dedicated 5th zone specifically for the 3rd row. So the people stuck in the way back, usually the kids, actually get their own independent temperature control. That's absolutely brilliant if you ask me. The front vents are power adjustable too, and you aim them through the center, so no longer manual. All you have to do is just aim them through the central screen. That is very cool as well. Now, speaking of screens, which there is no shortage of in this SQ9, the dash is what Audi calls the digital stage. It is a curved glass panel running across the front of the cabin, housing 3 separate displays. You get an 11.9-inch driver display, a 14.9-inch central MMI touchscreen, and here is the party trick, a 12.3-inch screen for the front passengers. They can watch movies or play games while you drive. And it has a dynamic privacy mode. So from the driver's perspective, you literally cannot see what is playing. No distraction whatsoever. Now let's be honest, because I am not here to just read you a brochure. Audi moved the climate airflow and the vent direction onto the touchscreen, which I'm not a very big fan of. A lot of reviewers have driven it already saying adjusting vents through a menu is fiddly, which I completely agree with. There is a big empty panel where physical buttons could have gone and they chose screens. They could have at least retained some of the physical controls for the AC unit. That is my one real gripe. But yeah, it is what it is. I think that's a tendency that is currently very common across a lot of manufacturers. So let's talk about the roof, the doors, and the sound. So these three features are the main highlights of the new SQ9. First, the roof. It is a massive panoramic glass roof, about 1.5 square meters, and it uses PDLC technology. Translation: at the touch of a button, the glass goes from fully transparent to opaque. And when you park, it darkens itself automatically for privacy and to keep the cabin cool. There is an optional light module with 84 LEDs and 30 color themes built into the frame. Second, the doors. This is a first for production Audi. The doors are now electric. You can open and close them with a button inside the key fob, the screen, or the phone app. And this is the smart part. There is an exit warning that uses the blind spot radar. So if a cyclist or a car is coming, it will actually stop the door from opening into them. And that is a very useful feature indeed. Third, the sound. The Bang& Olufsen system here is the 4D variant. There are speakers built right into the front seats, right by your ears, and there are actuators in the seats that turn bass into physical vibration. So you actually get to physically experience bass in a way that you would not be able to in regular cars that don't have this system. So you don't just hear the music, you feel it through the seat. It gets digital matrix LED headlights with micro LED tech, and for once, America gets the full function Euro version, not the watered down ones. So that is great news for US customers. Standard rear axle steering, so this giant thing maneuvers like something smaller. It gets standard adaptive air suspension, a dual wireless charging pad that magnetically holds your phone, USB-C fast charging in all three rows up to 100 watts, enough to run a laptop. Plus, it gets a level 2 driver assist suite and a 3-year trial of hands-free highway driving, where the car monitors the road and drives itself on approved routes. Inside, the S model gets gray quilted Napa leather, red seat belts, embossed S logos in the headrest, and the red ambient light strip running across the whole dash. Now, let's get to the verdict. So, who is this for? If you have kids, you want space, and you refuse to give up on driving being fun, this is arguably the pick of the segment right now. It outmuscles the AMG GLS 63, undercuts it on price, and brings tech the Germans across town don't have yet. The X7 is from 2019, so it's starting to show its age a bit. The GLS is from 2020. This is brand new, and the technological gap with the GLS and the X7 is too great. So my take on this is Audi didn't just fill a gap in their lineup. They walked in late and set the pace. The touchscreen climate stuff annoys me, but everything else here is a statement. It hits US dealers in the last quarter of this year. If you want more breakdowns like this, subscribe because I go deep on cars that actually matter. Tell me in the comments, SQ9, X7 or AMG GLS. Which one would you park in your garage? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.